Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Legendary Leaders. I am your host, Katrina Jameson. I'm the founder of Legend Leaders, where we arm female business leaders with the strategies they need to live life on their terms, a legend life. We're talking about non-negotiables. Hopefully you checked out last week's episode. If you didn't, go back and take a listen. This entire month is dedicated to helping you create your non-negotiable list. That list that's going to guide you when you have competing demands and competing priorities, and it's going to empower you to make a decision that you can look back on and say, no regrets. It's one of the key priorities that I have in my life. When I think about life on my terms, one of the key pieces that plays a key role in that definition for me is no regrets. And I can tell you, and I alluded to it last week, when I worked actively in the corporate world, I felt like I had a lot of regrets. And I'm a person that I don't want to live with regrets. I own my decisions. I make them. They were mine. That's what needed to happen at the time. But when you think about your kids, for example, and the milestones and the things that you miss, those are things you'll never get back. And those are events that you probably wish that you would have taken part in. And I want you to be able to have this list of non-negotiables such that you can look back and say, I saw this happen. I saw that happen. I was there for this. I supported them through that. I was there for my mom. I was there for my dad. I was there for my siblings, my spouse, my kids, my best friends, right? Nieces, nephews, godchildren, whatever it is, whomever it is, no regrets. And that's what you're working on creating this month. Just a little step further in living life on your terms. And so today's topic is all about creating this non-negotiable list, and we're looking very specifically at the part of your life I'm calling family time. Now, family time, again, doesn't have to be just the people that you're related to or married to or anything like that. Your family are the people that you decide to be your family, right? Your chosen family. They could be your next door neighbor. They could be the person, the group that you play soccer with every weeknight on Thursday nights. Right? That could be your family. It could be your church family. Any group of individuals or a person that matters to you that you consider a priority in your life, you probably have some non-negotiables around the things that you don't want to miss out on relative to that relationship. Right? And so if that's the case, what you're going to spend time doing, what I want to walk you through today, is to create your non-negotiable list with those individuals in mind. First, define who are these people, right? This family time. When we're focusing on family, not focusing on us, we're focusing on the outward friends, family, those we love, the people that we want to spend time with, right? Who are they? Make that list. Number one, so identify who. And then number two, I want you to identify the life events, the activities, the things that matter that you want to prioritize. Now, here's the key thing. What your brain is going to end up doing is it's going to say, oh, well, that's not as valuable as this, or this is not as valuable as that. And what it's going to try to do is cause you to try to quantify or qualify which activities matter more than others. And to get started, here's what I want you to do. Don't do that. Tell your brain to shut up. Okay? Tell it to shut up. Right now, you're making the list of people who matter, and you're making out the list of activities that really matter to you when it comes to those individuals. It's just a list. You can go back and take things off or whatever, but I want you to have everything on the list. Everything. From doctor's appointments to a phone call every evening, right? Because maybe you want to talk to your family every single day, a parent, for example, or a sibling. You're going to do that. That's a priority. You're going to find a way to make sure that happens. Everything goes on the list. It could be when it's football season that you must go and watch football with this friend and you take turns between each other's houses. That's great. Don't say that that's not valuable. Don't keep that off of the list. Maybe that's the one thing that if you really allowed yourself to think about it, matters so much to you in your life. And that if you don't have it on the list, you may regret it. I'll use an example. Growing up, I would watch basketball with my parents. So I went to school in Chapel Hill, UNC Chapel Hill. I'm a Tar Heel. I grew up in North Carolina. That's where I did undergrad. That's where I went to pharmacy school. And so I am a Tar Heel. The end, no discussion. That's my school. And so growing up, I have amazing memories of watching basketball with my dad, right? And watching Dean Smith coach that team. And I remember watching those games actively. Those are fond memories that I have. And so when I travel to see my parents, one of the non-negotiables is if there's a ball game on, we're watching basketball together, right? That's a priority for me. And then my son, who just turned 12, he plays basketball, and we watch basketball together, and that's a non-negotiable for me. If the Tar Heels are playing, I'm watching, and if I'm with a family member, we're doing it together. Now that may sound silly, that may sound trivial, but those are memories that I want to create. I already have fond memories, and I want to continue to make them. And I want to help my kids create those memories with me and with my family, right? My parents, and I just want to continue that on. You probably have things like that. And so what I want you to do is I want you to add it to the list. And once you have everything on the list, I want you to review it. And you may go back and say, well, that's not that big of a deal. I could probably miss that. But here's the key thing. There will be times in your career where you're going to have to miss one or two things. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's when you miss it. But all the other times you make it. Okay? Because here's the deal. What you're going to end up with is a list of probably, I don't know, let's say at least 20 things from family events. Because family, friends, loved ones, they should take up the majority of our list. They usually do, right? Because there's so many different people typically and so many different events. That's great, right? So on my list, it's Tar Heel basketball. It's watching it with my parents, especially my dad, but usually mom and dad because they both love basketball. Watching it with my son and my family, right, here in this house. And then going and not missing family dinners, not missing my kids' sporting events or recitals or school events or ball games or whatever it is they have going on. Those are some of the key things that are on my non-negotiable list. And the list is long, but with good reason, right? Because those are the things that matter. And when we think about it, and we always hear this, but you probably now know it to be true more so than not, no one is going to say, God, wish I would have worked more, right? Most people, as they approach the end of their lives, say, I wish I would have spent more time with this person. Or I wish I would have spent more time doing that. I really loved walking on the beach. And I live 45 minutes from the beach or whatever, right? I should have gone at least once a month and walked on the beach. Why didn't I do that? We say these things. But you're creating a list that's going to help you when you reach that point in your life to say, man, I didn't miss out on anything. I feel really good about the decisions that I made. I feel amazing. I put the people first who mattered. I have all of these memories of all of these things that we did together. And we're sitting around and we're doing all these family holiday events. And the kids are talking about how we enjoyed all these things together. And, how I was always there and we spent time at the right times. And, and they value that. That's what you're creating. That's what this list is going to help you create. And so I just said the word holiday. Don't forget to think about holidays. What do you do? If you celebrate Thanksgiving, how do you do it? If you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, how do you celebrate it? What does that look like for you? For every holiday, is there something significant or specific that needs to happen, and who do you need to be with? And if there's not, maybe there's something you want to create and put on your list. This is the key thing. It may sound complicated. I promise it's not. Who, from a family time perspective, put them down. Put their name down on your list. Create a column with names. Then come over and create another column of all the activities that matter with those individuals. That's your list. You can cull it down later. And from time to time, you're going to miss some of these things. You're going to have to. You're going to have competing demands. But I would tell you that if you wrote it down and it matters to you when you're brain dumping, it's probably something you don't want to miss if you don't have to. And so put it on your list. Make it matter, because it already does. No regrets, right? Go make your list. I'm going to talk to you next Wednesday. We're going to talk about another facet of your life to add to your list. As always, go and be legendary.